This video I'm going to go through the Metabolics report for you and what we can do on a nutritional basis to support your body. Now as you scroll through, you're going to see lots of diagrams this time, but in there you can just see the genes and again the colour codes. So we've got reds, we've got ambers, and we've also got greens. Greens are fine, that's okay. Reds and ambers we can look a little bit more closely for you and see how we can support your body. As you scroll down, you can also see the in-depth report here on what the genes mean and also what you can do about it if you wanted to read further. But I've included that for you here and I will explain what you can do. We have a couple of hormones for our appetite. We've got the ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone, and leptin, which is the satiety hormone. Now this one here, your FTO, that is your ghrelin, your hunger hormone, that's upregulated. So you've got overexpression of it and a subsequent increase in hunger basically. So with that also you may well have a preference for calorie dense, sweet and high fat foods. But what you can do about it is you can have extra protein and complex carbohydrates, which would be preferable for you rather than a high fat diet. And also rhubarb and green tea helps to reduce the expression. If you click on the links again, it takes you to a handout where it shows you which foods are rich in that nutrient, and then you can use that to increase in your diet. Right, moving on to sugar metabolism. There's a couple of genes I want to highlight here. We've got an upregulated one there, and also we've got a downregulated one there. But we can do things about it to help support these genes. So the first one shows it's an overexpression of this gene resulting in reduced insulin release, which means there's a risk of higher blood sugar levels, okay? And also the risk is higher when we are stressed and also when cortisol levels are high. But there are things that we can do about it to help regulate this gene a little bit more. So we can include more flavonoids into our diet. And again, we've got the link here. It takes you to the rainbow of nutrition. So there we've got the phytochemicals and antioxidants. It's the colours again. We need to increase the colours in your diet. These are all the protective compounds, and that's what we need to include to help with this overexpression of the gene, along with green tea. We've got resveratrol here that you can see the foods that you can get that compound from. Moving on to fat metabolism now. So fats are an essential energy source and support so many different metabolic and immune functions. So it impacts the cognition, our cardiovascular health, inflammation, and also it helps to absorb fat soluble vitamins, so A, D, E and K. And these are so important, especially for your immune system. There are different types of dietary fats, and if you wanted to find more information about those, you just click on that link and it just takes you to some more detail. Okay, moving on to our cholesterol and bile pathway. So we've got a few SNPs that we want to have a look at here. A couple of yellows, one little red one. So there are always things that we can do to help support these genes. So the first one here, we've got a slower conversion resulting in lower good cholesterol and CoQ10 production, which we need for energy and also for vitamin D for bone health and immunity. So we need to support this gene and help it to perform a little bit better. And we can do that by having adequate intake of CoQ10 and also vitamin D. And then the last one for this to go through to actually producing the bile acids, we've got a slower breakdown of cholesterol to bile acids. So it's associated with increased cholesterol levels and lower bile acid production, which can affect digestion and the absorption of fats and fat soluble vitamins, which we said again before. So how you can actually support that, these are some nutrients and foods that you can do. Green tea again comes up. Look at all of these here. These are all the greens that we need to try and include to help support this pathway. And also increase in fibre, because that will help to remove cholesterol. Again, you've got the handouts here, you've got taurine foods here. Just click on there and it will just take you to some foods just to make sure we are including them there for you. Okay, so just moving on to the next section, mitochondria and inflammation. So inflammation is so important, and we touched on that before in the Nutrient Core report. But if you have a look at here, you've got 1, 2, 3 SNPs here for your inflammatory markers. So it's so important to help bring these down, the inflammation down for you. So the first one we've got here is CRP. We've got a higher C-reactive protein activity, which is associated with inflammatory diseases, cardiovascular, high blood pressure, diabetes and rheumatoid arthritis, for example. So we've got increased activity going on there. And again, we've got other inflammatory markers, the IFNG, which that came up with the Nutrient Core report that we did. So increased immune response to infections associated with chronic inflammation and slower metabolism. And also we've got an increased inflammatory and autoimmune activity there with the interleukin 6, that's an inflammatory marker. Again, it's associated with an increased risk of diabetes, higher blood sugar levels, obesity and metabolic syndrome. But again, there's always things that we can do about it. So these are the nutrients and the nutrient input that I wanted to have a look at to help you. Omega-3s, brassicas we've got here, brassica foods, food sources of your omegas, so salmon, herring, sardines, etc., ground flax seeds and chia seeds. We've got the antioxidant handout here again for you, so you just click on it, it takes you to the polyphenols which we had before, and also that links into the rainbow of nutrition. That's so important for you to include. All right. Okay, so that finalises the metabolic report. So just again to reiterate, here's the food list focus. So I've taken these foods from all of the SNPs from all of the other Nutrigenomics reports and just compiled the most important foods here.